It might not be arbitrary that the offensive line gets paid, but how does the defensive line feel about the offensive line getting paid? And what does NIL mean for the product on the field in terms of intra locker room envy and not having a we're all for one and one for all on the gridiron?
Well, that's why some coaches have said, you know what, I'm going to stay away from this. I'm going to try to. I'll give my guys as much as we can. But I'm not going to create a system I'm not going to be like Ryan Day at Ohio State who throws out the exact number he needs, 13 million. Just the idea that the locker room could be fractured because of this. Now, there are some NIL people say, oh, this is just a narrative that is created by people who don't want to see this happen. It seems to me that, if you're a quarterback and you're getting all the money and what's enabling you to throw and be great is the offensive line, and the offensive line gets nothing or the defensive line gets nothing, there is some, it's not only about, hey, pay for a visit to reward the hogs at the steak restaurant. It seems like there will be some fracturing in the locker room. And that's why some coaches say, you know what? We're going to win the division because we don't have a lot of these NIL deals. That's what we're going to do, right? We're just going to win because we are a team, and this will create a whole lot of eyes.
So the gasoline on this fire, further complicating the human resources issues that coaches face, is the transfer portal. How is that playing into making this issue even more dire?
So I talked about the inducement, right? There and how you cannot induce. The NCAA has had no rules on the transfer portal. The transfer portal over the past couple years enables a player not to sit out and to immediately play.
Which in the past you had to sit out for a year if you transfer between school.
Correct. So now this creates a situation where a guy can graduate, he can get a fifth year, he can go somewhere else. And then entering the transfer portal essentially lets everyone know that you're a free agent. So now we don't have anything we have everything on inducement, but nothing regarding staying or leaving. And so you have a situation where what happens if there's a great school, not the greatest football school potentially, but it's in a big conference. Guy becomes an All-American and he wants to go to the best football school out there. Puts himself in the transfer portal, letting everyone know he's a free agent, letting the collectives know he's a free agent, letting the schools know he's a free agent, and then there's some sort of offer. So you have a situation, I'm a Northwestern guy, so you have a situation where there's a guy like Pete Nance, who is Larry Nance's son, plays well at Northwestern, and then goes on to UNC. The issue now becomes, how do you keep a person there? And how are these funds now keep getting guys to come to your university? And that complicates all. Because if you are a school and you are a coach who develops great players, who turns 2 stars into 4 stars, once they're 4 stars, do they leave? And that obviously becomes a problem.
We talked about certain team-based deals, like at Texas and Texas Tech, where they're making $25 and or $50 and $25,000 per year for community service. But there's just monster deals like Jaden Rashada's, the QB recruit for Miami, looking at a $9.5 million deal. You talked about Tennessee's quarterback looking at an $8 million deal.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, right? These are all rumored, and rumors beget rumors, and rumored deals beget bigger deals. How does it work for the average college athlete who's in a non-revenue sport?
Well, there's been a whole lot of bloviating about how this will help these guys. And I think there's deals here and there, but they're $1,000 deals. There's guys, there's a Division III player who's done like 100 deals at like $100 each, but this is not, this is not going to be, the one thing that is different is with women. If there is a woman athlete who is essentially a model or someone who has been able to build up their social media to this point, now they can benefit from doing things within their athletic world and sell themselves. So some of the most successful NIL deals have been the twins who transferred from Fresno to Miami, the Cavender twins, basketball players, and Olivia Dunn, the gymnast from LSU. I mean, these guys have cleared seven figures, but it starts with the fact that they were big to begin with. That they have a lot of men following them on Instagram. And so those guys benefit, but the true non-revenue sport athletes don't really, get much from this. This is a rounding error in their world.
Well, now the colleges are supposedly agnostic about all this. They're supposed to be staying away from it, but they do have to report these deals, and this puts them in a very awkward situation, especially when it comes to things like equity and trying to play fair. What does it mean for the college? Do they have to hire staff to administer all these things?
Yeah, well, they've beefed up compliance staff, but now the NCAA doesn't penalize anything because they're scared to do anything, apparently. But there has not been a huge run up in staff. What is the most interesting part to me, and you just said they do in fact have to approve these deals, is the people who they get in bed with, who they're not acknowledging that they're getting in bed with. Like, I could just start a collective and say and mooch their brand name. I'm going to start a Northwestern collective, and all of a sudden my brand gets involved with their brand. John Ruiz at Miami, he's part of a kind of a controversial stock that hasn't done well. His company Life Wallet has spent millions in marketing and has not reported anything in revenue yet. I'm all of a sudden becoming part of their brand. And that's the biggest issue for these schools. USC saying this guy, Dale Reck, that's starting Student Body Right, this collective, he's never given to the university. And Dale then saying, well, I've given, but they just haven't seen it. I've given in other ways. And how dare they describe how I am as a donor and how much of a fan I am. So that's also like a really dangerous part, that once they accept the deal, they're accepting. They could have always done marketing deals with the school. Hey, we're going to do it with this auto and whatever, and we're going to put it inside the stadium. There's always been that risk, and that auto dealership could sell 15 lemons, and then it associates with the university. But now it's like anyone, any day can start anything, and say that they're earmarking it to the school and or its players, and that's just another wild factor of this.